Hello class, welcome back to the Chong channel. So today what we're going to do is learn about adding and subtracting polynomials. Anytime you have parentheses in an algebraic expression, our goal is to get rid of those parentheses by following the distributive property. So if you look at question number 1, since we have a set of parentheses, we're going to use the distributive property. So 2 times, once again, if you don't see a number, there's an invisible 1 that's hiding. So this is 2 times 1x, which is equal to 2x. Next, we have 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. So to be very clear, when you're doing the distributive, you're multiplying. 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Same thing here. So what number is hiding? So once again, if you don't see a number, there's an invisible 1. And so in this case, there's a negative 1 in front of the parentheses. So we're going to distribute negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. Negative 1 times positive 9 is negative 9. So once we have gotten rid of the parentheses, now we're going to combine like terms. So when we combine like terms, you're adding. So let's look at the like terms here. So we have 2x. Another x term is right here. Make sure you pay attention to the sign in front. So you can either say 2 plus a negative 3, or if you get confused, just pay attention to whatever symbol's in front of the term. So in this case, am I adding or am I subtracting? Well, this is a subtraction. So this would be 2 minus 3. And 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So then I copy down my x. Now let me deal with the constants. So here we have a negative 4 minus 9. And so a negative 4 minus 9 is negative 13. So this would be our final algebraic expression or polynomial that is in simplified standard form. If you remember in class, anytime you have a polynomial, make sure you're writing your final answers in standard form, which basically means you're writing it from highest degree to lowest degree. And remember, you're always reading it from left to right. So if I read this term from left to right, this has an exponent of 1, and this has an exponent of 0. So it goes from highest degree to lowest degree. Now let's look at the second question. So here it says to find the sum of. Now if you remember in class, we mentioned that anytime you have a lot of terms, think about you going shopping. When you buy a lot of stuff, we put it in a bag. Same idea. In math, parentheses is like a bag that keeps everything neat and organized together. So here we're going to find the sum of this polynomial and this polynomial. Here we also have a lot of terms, so we're going to put it in a bag. So in math, sum means to add, and so I'm just going to rewrite this expression plus. Just like we did in the first question here, when we saw parentheses, we used the distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. We're going to do the same thing here. Now, let's keep this in mind. What number is hiding in front? A 1. What number is hiding in front? A 1. But if you think about basic math, 1 times anything, it's just itself. So even if I were to go through the distributive, it's really just this. So I'm just going to recopy it. Likewise here, if I were to distribute the 1, it's the same thing. So I'm just going to recopy this. Now, is all this work necessary? Not really, but right now we're just practicing the idea of anytime you see parentheses, we're going to distribute. So let's just keep our systems consistent. So now we're going to combine like terms. We have 7n squared minus 2n squared, which is 5n squared. The next like terms we have is negative 2n minus 5n, which is negative 7n. Now we have positive 9 minus 8, which is positive 1. So if you look over here, our final algebraic expression is 5n squared minus 7n plus 1. Once again, this is in standard form because we have the highest exponent to the lowest. And keep in mind that this has an exponent of 0 because if we think that there was an n here, the exponent would have been a 0 and this would have been a 1. So this is 2, 1, 0. But when we write our final answers, we do not put that into the 0 at the end. All right, now finally, let's try this question here. Here we're going to distribute. The number that's hiding in front of this x squared is 1. And so 3 times 1x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 3x is positive 9x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Once again, notice that when you have parentheses, we distribute to get rid of the parentheses. Same thing here, we're going to distribute. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And then I just copy down my x squared. Here we have negative 5 times negative 6x is positive 30x. And then negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. Now notice that we got rid of all the parentheses using the distributive property, and our next step now is to combine like terms. So let's look for the highest degree, and so we have 3x squared minus 15x squared, which is negative 12x squared. Now let's look at the next highest degree, and that's the one with the exponent of 1. And so we have positive 9x plus 30x, which is positive 39x. And then finally, we have negative 12 minus 35, which is negative 47. So always keep in mind your final answers must be in standard form, and the polynomial that we just figured out is in standard form from highest degree to